Aubrey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Andreas. It's a pleasure.
It's a great honor to be here as well.
Thank you.
You've been seeing clients at Satya for a while now, right?
Yeah, 2 years. 2 years since we've been open. I got my license the year that it what became available. Um, I had been interested in joining MAPS originally.
Right.
Um, I mean, this was after I got my social work degree and things like that were rolling around and this beautiful state of Oregon came up. I wanted to work with MAPS or
What's MAPS?
MAPS is basically at a lot of shows is where I saw MAPS, and MAPS is basically like um after somebody is experiencing a really traumatic issue with psychedelics during a show or one of the many what I call many Woodstocks that happen around the country. Every weekend there's a giant show and there's a lot of people gathered, and sometimes those people, it's a really overwhelming setting. It's the most overstimulating setting, and when people take psychedelics in that setting, it gets really chaotic. And so MAPS steps in. There's also a clinic in Eugene that's super specific for trauma-based things that I was really interested in. But it does the same work. And it's basically catching people when they're very vulnerable, when they're in a psychedelic state and they're in an immediate crisis, basically. And so MAPS kind of helps de-escalate those things. I was really interested in that, but there was something that didn't fit for me. And I really wanted to work on the other side of it, but that didn't, there wasn't a place for it on the other side of it. Even with my degrees, nothing was really fitting. And then all of a sudden, as soon as Oregon legalized this, I was in the program immediately, actually with your wife, Jennifer.
Right.
And Jennifer and I it's a very vulnerable opportunity to take a class. Cause in my master's and things were more logistical. They were more straightforward. But in this class, it was very on the, much like the mushroom, on the imagination realm. And you're very vulnerable and personable and personal. And so I got very close with Jennifer and so I was really excited to be on the preventative side of psychedelics because I truly feel like that's what is missing, is an opportunity for discussion about what psychedelics can be. Even what I find most hilarious is people that would consider themselves psychonauts or people that have, I've taken mushrooms many times or psychedelics. In this setting, it's a whole new world.
Mm-hmm.
It's not comparable. And I would not have been the one to convince you of this 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
I don't think anybody had any idea what this would be.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. And so following with all my mentors around here and taking my knowledge from just being in a city, in an inner city, Minneapolis is where I worked. And North Minneapolis is a very special type of place. And I loved every minute of it, but it was just very, it's unique to be in this setting, working directly with people. I truly do believe that this work is the revolution.
Right. So you have a master's degree?
I do in social work, macro social work. So systems, and trauma. I worked in food systems. I grew like 40 trays of microgreens in a community center in the middle of South Minneapolis, where I was getting my direct mentors were of the Anishinaabe. Ojibwe clan is a really big Native community in that urban setting, along with just so many different people from Somalia and many like Spanish-speaking countries. Everyone was just there. And so I was learning from so many people at one time, and it was phenomenal. And it was exhilarating. We were going to the Capitol. We were doing things, working specifically. What I did is I worked with the Jeremiah program in my master's degree. And that's a program that works specifically with women who've been battered and women who've gone through trauma, severe trauma, and are trying to, kind of go through the process of taking all the classes and things, but with their kids. It's a program that's community, much like the mycelium. This program was connecting children into the program, and the women were being wildly successful. Which brings me to another point about women and just wildly creative individuals in general. I always say, like, hey, we need you on the team. We're doing important work here. I mean that to everybody who is ready to be assertive with their autonomy. This work is wildly about recreating your habits and having the trust and confidence in yourself to be able to do so. So what I do is I work with habit reforming. I always say the journey is about 35% of the entire experience.
Right. This is a non-directive program where you can't practice your degree and your skills, those people, right? So
Yeah.
maybe you talk a little bit about how you approach preparation in that context of non-directive program.
Yeah, beautiful. The first thing I go to is Michael Pollan. To be honest, he's a wonderful author that just made it really straightforward. The Default Mode Network. It's a unique situation because we know from brain scans that our brains all light up at the same time when we're taking psilocybin. But actually, that's shutting our brain down. So it kind of feels contradictory. But the reasoning is because Michael Pollan talks about the default mode network. And basically, he describes it as that's our almost our ego, our sense of self. It's you and me communicating as a human and knowing where we stand. Mushrooms and psilocybin communicate in the imagination realm and the yin to that yang, basically. So it creates a vulnerable place that communicates in colors, shapes, symbols, signs. And much like my social work degree, the parallel is that it's all encompassing. It's all macro systems. So you're using all of your brain, and it's basically all your brain is connecting and talking to different parts of your brain all over it. So I go to the science as a non-directive practitioner, but I also am Italian. And so I really enjoy being bold. I don't like to, I'm not selling anything here. I'm not going to sell the magic to you. It's not about that. It's about you having the trust and the confidence in yourself. So what I work with primarily is optimism. I usually say that we want to be 1% better than we were the day before, that we start with negative self-talk, and we all have the self-critic. So we talk about the positive and what that voice in our heads can be just as loud as the self-critic. I remind people that this is not their problems, whether it be anxiety, depression, community. There's no way up and around the mountain, and there's no way around it. You literally get a pickaxe, and with every positive self-thought that you have, every time that you're able to negate the negative thought and bring yourself up, that's what we're trying to do, rock by rock. And sometimes you say the psilocybin is a little bit of a TNT. It just kind of blows it out of the water, but I use a lot of symbolism, a lot of optimism. And I talk about creating our toolbox. Our toolbox is essentially, what are your habits that are going to work for you? And then we revisit those. And I remind you, hey, these were the tools that you said were working for you. Are they still working for you? And we work with assertive autonomy. And that's the courage to say, the tool is working, or you know what, the tool isn't really working. And so that's why I urge you to be honest with yourself. That's the beautiful thing about this non-directive thing, is that this is you. I have the ship and you're the captain. So whatever I can make sure that you have the highest rate of success, I'm here to do that. But this is a listening experience. I always remind people that, in Buddhism, there's the noble silence. We practice that. It's a listening experience. There's a lot to be learned from this medicine, which is why people are drawn to it. And I think a lot of people, don't have exact words as to why they're drawn to it.
Right.
And that's okay.
Right.
And as coming as you are, that's where we want you, is coming exactly as you are.
Right.
And that's a part of assertive autonomy. So that's kind of what I go into with my clients is, hey, if you want to work with me, that's what we can expect, is to work on habits, work on accountability, work on optimism. And I always say the beginning part, the prep, kind of feels like more work because you're transitioning. I work with a book called Feeding Your Demons that helps you imagine a demon or a monster or something in relation to your anxiety or depression or whatever it might be. And then hopefully you're able to compartmentalize, and we're able to have tea parties with these things, which sounds silly, but we're looking to be unafraid. We're looking to be bold. We're looking to be authentic, and we're looking to be confident in ourselves. And hopefully, instead of that 90-degree angle of anxiety or depression, we're able to slope it, just slope it. And that's what life is working on these habits over and over.
Right. So some clients that come here are very nervous about their potential psilocybin experience. If you ever have nervous clients that have a lot of anxiety coming into the session, how do you work with clients to make them have less anxiety?
Well, that's the best part, is that we always say, when we're stuck, we just have to keep moving. Just keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. So what are the tools? The tools we have: 1, breathing. We know that we need to breathe. That sounds like a simple one. 2, research. We use our tools. Hey, if you're nervous, read the book. Hey, if you're nervous, watch some shows. Hey, if you're nervous, keep moving in that direction of psilocybin. Get your body and mind ready, because there should be, on the scales, you should be more excited to do it than not excited. It's okay to be trepidatious. Anxiety is okay, fear is not. And that's usually what I tell my clients. As soon as you feel fear, you text me. That's something we can't have you living with and growing into this snowball of shame and embarrassment and guilt, and something that it's not. We need to address it immediately at the core. What are we really fearful of? Yes, clients are fearful of letting go. That's one of the ones I get the most, and that's the thing, is that what we're trying to let go of is trauma and guilt and shame. This should be a loving experience. We're kind of like busting the tubes out of everything that's been gunked and stuck in our plumbing. We're busting it out. So this is a self-love experience. I always say, before a journey, you cut wood and you carry water. After a journey, you cut wood and you carry water. So basically, with that being said, what we're trying to do is, we can't get back the pieces that were taken from you, because being a human is hard. People take bits of you, but what we can do is fill that with self-love. We can reframe it. We can step into compassion, forgiveness. We can relieve shame and guilt. That's part of the journaling thing I do. We claim things for the day, and we disregard, or we shed things for the day. And that's part of the journaling entry we do in the integration. Who do you want to be bringing in tomorrow? And what part of today do you need to just leave into today?
How do you approach the dosing question? How to provide people?
Yeah,
the psilocybin?
absolutely. By state law, of course, it's up to the client, which is bizarre, because how is the client supposed to know? So what we do is we provide a whole menu. Hey, these are the options. We can start with a gram. Are you feeling really trepidatious? Are you a person that's actually had some experience? Maybe starting in the middle of the road would be a better option for you. Maybe you're someone who's really resistant, has been resistant in the past, or maybe you're on some medication, and there's another space on that spectrum for you as well. So it's really subjective, and we have that discussion, and I give you the options. And even if you are in the middle and you've had experiences, some of my clients like to start with the 1 gram. Either way. Some of my clients would like to take the second dose. Some of my clients don't want to. I wish that there was more of a very common thing I could say. Most of my clients, X, Y, and Z. It's very subjective.
It's very
subjective.
It's a difficult decision to make for the client, and they'll say, "Well, I just trust you. Just what should I take?"
That's common, and by law, that's not the answer we can have. So
again, we non-directively inform the client, like on the anxiety side versus the resistance side, versus how angry are you going to be if it doesn't work because you didn't take enough. What would you feel like if you took too much? Speaking of that, one of the biggest concerns a client will have is, I'm afraid I'm going to freak out. What's the worst thing that can happen?
Hey, what's the worst thing that can happen? I mean, there are times when, honestly, I'm not going to say there are times. I think everybody has that thought, and I will say the majority of my clients have found that this is an experience where they learn to trust themselves in an even bigger way. Because with this setting, what we're able to do here is so opposite from anything that can be done in the natural world. What we're able to do here is set the container with the music and the safety of this environment, with the people supporting this. That's what sets the stage. Mushrooms are malleable. They are. We know that.
Right.
We know mushrooms are malleable. So that's why we do non-directive work. So having your demons ready on a piece of paper or in your mind, and having done the research and just trusting yourself to breathe. This is it. Like I said, I can't stress it enough how much this is a trusting experience, but because trust is followed by love. And that sounds hippy dippy, and that's the last thing I'm trying to be. But at the core of this, we're looking for you to have more days full of joy. We're looking for you to have more freedom. We're looking for you to have more individuality. We're looking for you to be more powerful for yourself and the people around you. And so, yeah, anything can happen. That is true, Andreas. Absolutely. But that's not the confidence that we all come in every day with this.
Right.
That is the confidence we come in every day, is that anything can happen and we're prepared for anything that can happen.
So for people watching this video as a service center rep, the worst thing that can happen, in my opinion, is people come out from far away and nothing happens. And that's like a waste of time and money for them. And that's a great disappointment. And that does happen.
Mm-hmm.
We've had some people end up having to be taken to the emergency room, not because they were in a medical danger, but because they became so active and stimulated that they maybe were a danger to themselves or others. And that's the best place. And people that go to the emergency room don't see that as actually a negative experience, because it's part of the process. And that's very rare.
Sure.
And we've all had difficult experiences. How supported do you feel here in terms of Satya when people have a challenge in their experience, in their journey?
Yeah, nobody wants to go into work every day wondering if this is going to be a bad day. And by bad,
Right.
it could be really bad for this environment.
Right.
So there's a reason that we come here. I mean, not only do we trust you, we trust the environment you've created. We also trust the medicine.
Right.
This is very rare. What you said, I mean, I'm sure it could, in comparison to how many people that have been here and experienced good things,
Right.
so slim. However, that's the best part about this job, is transparency. That's the best part. We can sit here and be like, hey, yeah, there have been emergency calls. By the way, they have been so few in between and very extreme cases that are, unique.
With good outcomes.
With still good outcomes.
Right.
So knowing that still the worst possible case scenario is still a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
That's why people come here. That's why people come here, is for that full spectrum support. And that's why I work here too.
Right. You feel safe here.
I do.
I always tell clients in the intro calls, the worst case scenario. And I say, that's really unlikely, but you're going to be safe at Satya, no matter what you do. And we normalize the entry experience. I always tell people, anything you do is normal and won't have judgment. Do you feel like that's true?
Absolutely. You have to say that, because it's not only true, I embody that. I mean, that's the other thing, is that you're giving every single person their soul spa. Everybody's body is different. So when you're doing their nails or their hair, of course, you're going to have to tune how you do that. Same with the soul. Everyone's coming in with different baggage, and some of them are caregivers, some of them are mothers, some of them are fathers, some of them, have partners that the X, Y, and Z. I mean, I could not describe to you how many different scenarios I've heard, not only on the phone or in person. Just not any of them are the same, not even close.
No.
Everyone is really on their own path. There's some common things, but really, even in those common categories, everyone is so very uniquely specific. Individual. Yeah. So you kind of get like the whole thing as a spectrum. Hey, are we dealing with anxiety? Okay, where in the anxiety are you? What tools are you using to combat that anxiety? Are you working with a therapist? Do you have deep meditation in your background? Do you hate meditation? That's the best thing, is when in the intake, the best part about this is it's not a test. It's being honest. Hey, this is not a trick question. Have you tried psychedelics? Hey, this is not a trick question. What do you honestly feel are your goals? Because that's the only thing we can work towards, is an honest goal. This is a very vulnerable medicine. It's a very vulnerable experience.
Right.
And That's why people sometimes revert back to their 12-year-old self. Sometimes I say,
Right.
so it's okay to be childlike. It's okay to
Yeah.
have that experience.
Yeah. What kind of outcomes have the people that you've seen had?
I love the phone calls because when people are able to use the 6 weeks following the journey, that's basically where like the neurogenesis happens, where we're able to use the neuroplasticity and create different synapses. So we're basically with the journey, we're giving it our brains an opportunity to create more synapses. So the people that are able to take positive things from the journey and integrate it into their lives in a powerful way, using the positive things and the tools that they're able to reconnect back to, some of the calls have been so inspiring.
Right. It's
I
amazing.
It is. It makes you blush a little bit, and it makes you, I mean, there's the metas or the mushroom is the one that's working. We're providing the space and being the non-direct place for this to happen. But hearing how really changed and really happy and excited. And people know that this is a habit thing. So they know that we're not looking to get rid of all the anxiety. A little bit of progress is 100% success. That's what I say. That's what we're doing every single day, working towards being better, having those 6 weeks to really solidify those habits. Eat the guacamole, take the bath, go for the walk, drink the water, you know, whatever it may be, to really create a new healthy environment for our bodies and to embody that. So many people know that they want to change. So many of my clients before were like, I know I needed to stop being anxious, but I didn't know how to. And the mushrooms help with the embodiment. So
Right.
after the journeys, I get these calls and they're saying, I finally feel like I want to do these things. I'm excited to work against my anxiety. I'm excited to take the walk and drink the water. And my habits are becoming fun. And that's why I say after the journey, if it feels like work, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
We're trying to create a stable environment for you to flourish.
Yes. One of the things I'm really grateful of that you're doing is making this accessible to people by offering an affordable price for people.
Absolutely.
Why are you doing that?
I love the mushroom. I believe in the mushroom. I believe this is the revolution, and I believe that it should be accessible. I worked in social work. I saw what was being able to be accessible to people I was working with in Minneapolis. It wasn't. It was disgraceful. It was, and so even some of the things that I provided are just not enough. And we're trying to preserve human dignity. We need to preserve human dignity, and we need to preserve our autonomy as individuals, because when we shine brighter, the people around us benefit from that. So that's why I make it as accessible as possible.
That's amazing. Well, Aubrey, thank you so much for taking the time to share some of your thoughts. And I think people are coming and watching videos. I think they're going to get a lot out of this. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm honored. Thank you so much.